This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Michael Toscano. With Iran rejecting a ceasefire proposal, President Trump is repeating his threat to destroy civilian infrastructure tomorrow night if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz.
So many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You know, we got regime change. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth praised Trump for committing substantial resources to get the U.S. flyer shot down over Iran out from hostile territory.
When our warriors are unleashed, as this president has allowed them to be, they are unstoppable. When American airmen were down behind enemy lines, our forces and our president did not hesitate.
The Artemis 2 astronauts are now on their moon flyby taking pictures. Lots of pictures.
I'm Peter King at the Kennedy Space Center. The crew is expected to shoot about 10,000 photographs. Commander Reed Weissman has been looking at a crater of great interest to NASA's lunar scientists.
Coming out the southern half of Oriental, you just see they look like gorges or almost like rain when it comes down the Grand Canyon and fingers off into the desert is kind of what it looks like.
The Orion moonship will be out of contact for about 40 minutes. When it goes behind the moon, that happens at about 6:45 Eastern Time. Peter King, CBS News at the Kennedy Space Center.
Longtime Trump ally Steve Bannon got what he was asking of the Supreme Court.
The justices have just thrown out a lower court's ruling that upheld Steve Bannon's conviction for defying a subpoena from the House committee investigating the January 6th riots at the Capitol building. That frees a trial judge to act on the Trump administration's bid to dismiss Bannon's conviction and indictment, quote, in the interests of justice. It would be a largely symbolic victory. Bannon served a 4-month prison term after his 2022 conviction for contempt of Congress. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Seattle's commercial fishing fleet is reeling over fuel prices.
They're preparing to fish for halibut and black cod, but at Seattle's Fisherman's Terminal, Garrett Gunderson says he's looking at diesel prices and doing the math.
Now it's 20 grand to leave the dock, with fuel, bait, and ice and groceries.
He's the captain of a longline fishing vessel, Sunward, and says this is the latest blow to an industry trying to stay afloat, shrinking over the years.
We're one of 5 longliners left in the Deep Sea Fishermen's Union that have survived.
John Repp for CBS News, Seattle.
This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS.
So it's 5:03 p.m. I'm doing a video of what the cars and the traffic is here. It's almost empty. There's almost non-existent traffic here. See that there? This used to be packed when I used to work here at this time. Look at the opposite side. Look at that side. There's no one on that other side.
Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in and joining us today. I'm Lisa Fielding. We have partly sunny skies, 50 degrees, west winds now gusting at 24 miles an hour. Still chilly for April, but, that's Chicago in spring. It'll be another chilly day tomorrow before it warms up. Midweek, the AccuWeather 5-day
What's up,
forecast
Juan? How's Texas going?
President Trump's comments over the weekend over Iran still stinging with many. And there's deep concern over the status of the war and the rhetoric. WBBM's Brandon Eisen checks in with Iranian Americans in the Chicago area to gauge the reaction.
You'll be living in hell. That's a quote from one of President Trump's posts on social media over the weekend concerning opening the Strait of Hormuz, beginning with threats to begin bombing major infrastructure in Iran if a deadline goes unmet in opening the strait. In Chicago, through Iranian Americans, all with civilian family, friends, some even with a life back in Iran. We find that Iranians are, as the president said in a speech today, willing to suffer for their freedom.
It is kind of misleading.
Tirdad Kiamanesh, co-founder of Chicago for Iran, tells us that it's more complicated than that.
So by threatening to hurt their life and their livelihood, United States and Israel are going to lose their support among Iranians.
Kiamanesh and other Iranian Americans in Chicago we speak with seem to agree that communication is critical, saying that the best immediate support for civilians in Iran would come in the form of internet access. Here's Saba Niaki.
That's the only way that we can hear anything else outside of the propaganda.
Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, costs for health care through Illinois' marketplace.
Again, look at it. There's some people walking here. People will say, "Oh, John, you see a lot of people here. You don't know." No, look. There's no traffic there. And look in front of me. The block is almost empty in back of me, and you want to see this? Looking back at me in the mirror. There's no cars in back of me. You see that there? There's no cars in back of me. So there's no one here. See, look. Now some cabbies came here, but there's cars coming up, right? But this should be packed with cars all the time at this time. It should be packed.
Riders show their tickets before they board. Some downtown.
That's for security.
Starting today.
The pilot is an effort to test new fare collection technology.
That's security.
Metro will be
They
asking
lie.
riders to launch their Venture ticket or show their paper ticket before boarding selected trains at downtown stations. The test is being conducted initially with off-peak trains and may be expanded to peak trains if initial tests go smoothly. Metro says a major goal of the pilot is to test the speed, functionality, and durability of new handheld devices to scan Venture and paper tickets. It will also provide data on how many riders use paper versus Venture tickets and when and where riders purchase their tickets. Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
State lawmakers heard from advocates today about a new measure, House Bill 1611, that would ban no-knock warrants. Chicago Alderwoman Maria Haddon spoke at the hearing in support of the Anjanette Young Act.
When we point guns at children and traumatize their family, we are not only harming our residents, we are working at odds to our overall goals of community safety by further eroding the relationship between police and the constituents that they work to serve and protect.
The legislation named after Young, who was a victim of a botched raid by Chicago police in 2019. Chicago man facing felony charges after allegedly hitting a pedestrian with his vehicle and then running away. Police say 57-year-old Leo Cohen was charged with attempted first-degree murder. Officers say he hit a female pedestrian near Lake and Laramie last Thursday, and she suffered serious injuries. Police say after the crash, she tried to run away, but minutes later, they were able to catch him.
That's the video we posted.
A popular youth camp in Indiana getting a multi-million-dollar upgrade.
The Salvation Army Indiana Division's been awarded a $3 million grant from Lilly Endowment to improve Hidden Falls Camp near Bedford. But there's a catch. They'll need to raise another $3 million to receive the full funding. Planned upgrades indoor sports facilities.
There's no cars. See that there?
Renovations to cabins and restrooms.
There's no cars in front of us. See that there? Look, it's empty. See this? There's barely any cars coming here. Look at that.
Pearson, News Radio.
We're at Madison, right? There's barely any people here.
Swedish Days Parade has been canceled this year. The president of their Chamber of Commerce says pausing the parade will allow them to reimagine the experience. The parade is usually held on the last day of the Swedish Days Festival that's held during the last week of June. Instead of the parade, Geneva will host family-friendly events instead. It's 5:08. Let's turn to traffic.
So there you go. Swedish Day Parade is canceled. I wonder why. Just like the Metro collecting the tickets before you get on train. Why do you think Metro's doing that? So nobody gets on the train that shouldn't be on the train. It ain't because they want to know what's tickets versus Venture. That don't mean anything. You do that on the train. That's bizarre. That's a bizarre excuse and a lie. Just like the people who lie about cars in downtown. Look, it's empty here. And downtown's empty. They've been lying about this for years now. I did my first video right there. They said I was crazy when I showed the empty downtown, and now it's the statistics say that. Now Metro says they're gonna basically what Metro's saying, you can't get on the train without showing your ticket first. In the old days, you can get on the train anytime. So how did they get rid of people who were on the train if they didn't have a ticket? You get where I'm saying there? It's a crime issue, and they're lying about it. Just like they lie about everything, right? Now they want to get rid of no-knock warrants because of one or two mistakes. Really? That's what you want to do? Is that what you want to do? Maria Haddon, that's where Sheridan Gorman was murdered. That's the alderwoman. That's the alderwoman's ward where a young woman was murdered. And she's talking against the cops again. Oh, we need to erode trust, or it erodes trust. Well, yeah, if you got migrants shooting girls in the back, yeah, that might be an issue there. So, so there we go. We just went through downtown, right? I'm videotaping this. I'm talking for two things on my live, and I'm talking for a video now. So there you see now, right? You telling me, is that normal for a downtown to be like this? It ain't normal. It ain't normal, and now the lie is coming to fruition, right? Loyalty to the lie. Now we have it, right? When you lie so much, there's nothing you can do to reverse it anymore, right?